Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jessica of Jessica-esque, and I'm here to do a reading challenge check-in. I have been participating in and have completed some reading challenges this year on both Goodreads as well as Storygraph. So I just want to do a video and wrap everything up for this point in the year. The Goodreads reading community challenge is the first one is finished. So I wanted to let you know what I read for said challenge, and also let you know what I'm planning on reading, what I've currently got kind of earmarked for these other challenges that I'm doing. And I'm gonna have my screen recording, and hopefully you'll see everything that I'm planning on reading, as well as what I'm stuck on, how, like, what to figure out to read for a couple of prompts. I'm going to start with the Community Favorites Challenge from Goodreads. This lasted from January to April of 2025. I collected all 6 of the achievements, which are these cute little bookmarks, and I'm going to let you know what I read for each of these. So there's Buzzy Books, Epic Quest, Era Explorer, Essential Reader, Sweet and Spicy, and Her Story. So for Buzzy Books, this was, let's see, what did they call this? I finished this or collected the achievement on January 4th. And the list that these books came from was the 144 most read books of the 2024 Reading Challenge. And I read Sea of Tranquility for that one. Oh, I can't search. So I read Sea of Tranquility for that one. There was a lot to pick from. Jump scare on Elon's face, of course. The next achievement that I got was Epic Quest, and I fulfilled that on January 22nd. And that one, let's read here. So this was the 60 most popular fantasy novels of the past 3 years. But of course, this original post came from July of 2024. And so for this one, I read Electra. The next is Era Explorer, which I collected on February 26th. And the post that was from was a look back at 5 years of historical fiction. And so I finished Isabel Allende's A Long Petal of the Sea, and have already read a few of the books on that list. Next is Essential Reader, and it says I collected this on April 17th. And what happened here is that I read a book that was both on the Essential Reader list, but also on the Her Story list. And I think it counted that one book for both challenges, which is totally fine. But I ended up reading specifically the book, The Three of Us, for the 177 new fiction and nonfiction reads for Black History Month. And for Her Story, which it says I collected on April 16th, which is true. That's when I finished Lovely One. This is 192 nonfiction books to read this Women's History Month. So I read Lovely One by Ketanji Brown Jackson. And then for Sweet and Spicy, I collected that on April 5th. And the qualifying books for that was from a post, the 100 most popular romances of the past 3 years on Goodreads. And there's the one I read, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So those are the Goodreads community favorite challenges, 6 achievements collected from January to April 2025. So for my general 2025 reading goal, I have set 78 books. I am currently at 44%, so I'm ahead by 6 books, and I've read 34 books. For page total for this year, I set 22,000 pages, and I'm at 45%, which is across 34 books, 9,977 pages. I'm also ahead on that goal by 2,141 pages. Hooray! So I am currently enrolled in a number of Storygraph challenges. The first, I think, four I just found when I first joined Storygraph, and I am almost halfway through, I would say, most of my challenges. And then the last three, Buzzword Reading Challenge, Savage Prompts, and 2025 Diversity Book Bingo, these three are by different booktubers. So I've subsequently found these. And as you'll see as we go through this, I am cross pollinating, I'm cross purposing the books that I have in some of these challenges. So let's take a look at the first four. So I'm part of the 2025 Nonfiction Challenge. This is by Alexis with the Freckles. And oh, that's cool. There's 41 participants. So I'm 42% of the way through. It doesn't look like there's any bonus prompts for this. It's just 5 out of 12 have been completed. And how this challenge is set up is it's just saying, month by month, you pick a nonfiction book each month. So I might not have actually read it in the month that it's associated with. But either way, I have so far read Monsters and slid that into the January slot because that is when I read it. February, I actually finished this book in March, but The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. March pick was Yoke by Jessamine Stanley, and my April pick was All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot. And then for whatever reason, I just slid Lovely One by Ketanji Brown Jackson into June. And I don't have anything picked for December, November, October, September, or August. I am currently reading Crying in H Mart, which I've slid into the May slot. And I believe coming out this month is a new Robert McFarlane book, Is a River Alive? And so I've got that just slid into July because I hope to read it soon. I'm probably going to get the audiobook on Audible. So yeah, 42% of the way through the 2025 Nonfiction Challenge. Feels really good. I certainly have a lot of nonfiction that I have earmarked on my Libby tags and in my want to read tags on Storygraph and Goodreads. So I'm not feeling too overwhelmed by picking more. I think I just haven't wanted to overwhelm myself by, picking what I'm going to read in 6 months' time. So that's one challenge. Like I said, 42% of the way. Let's move on to another. Okay, so the next challenge that I enrolled in on Storygraph was Moony's Book Club by Devla Luna 2. There's 31 participants in this book challenge. And there's a lot of really cute, very curated prompts on here. So, oh, why is that missing? It's not showing me my, now it's showing me my totals. So I am 67% done the official prompts, and then I'm 80% done the bonus prompts. So for Oh You Pretty Things, Pretty Book Cover, Cover You Love, or Judging Your Books by Their Covers, I picked and read A Grandmother Begins the Story. Really great book, really cool cover. Cosmic Dancer, that is to be read. I originally had The Girlfriend from Mars or The Girlfriend on Mars, but then I heard about this book, The Mars House. So I'm going to pick one of those two to fulfill the second challenge, which is Cosmic Dancer. Title or cover includes something celestial or anything sky related. Now that I think about it, I could probably swap this out for The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, because I don't think I have used that for this prompt. But I do want to read, to be honest, both of those Mars books. So I think I'll just leave it as is, because look at that. I've already used The Very Secret Society. Okay, moving on. The third prompt is You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. These are all like song lyrics, which I think is really cute. So the uh, explanation for this is gay as hell / extra points if it's a classic featuring gay repression. It's not a classic, but I think it would be, a modern day classic. Private Rights by Julia Armfield. This was the 100th book that we read for our book club, and we got to meet up in person and chat about the book itself. So yeah, very pleased with that one. Number 4, All the Young Dudes. Young adult found family / extra points if they are all a little gay. There are definitely gay characters and like a gay couple in this book, which I have now said a million times, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. And it isn't a young adult novel, it's an adult fiction. But she is a young adult, and so is the love interest. And it's all about, kids raising kids kind of thing, multi-generational as well. The Chain, number 5. Read the next book in a series or complete a series. I think I am now realizing I might have cheated here a little bit. The Mysterious Affair at Styles, I think it's the first the first book in the Poirot series, if I'm not mistaken. So don't tell anybody. We'll just move on here. Number 6 is Strawberry Fields Forever, fruit or food or drink on the cover or in the title. So I've picked Crying in H Mart, which, like I mentioned, is a current read. Another to be read is for prompt number 7, As the World Falls Down, that book you've been putting off because you know it would destroy you. I have actually started before On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, and it was I think just not the right time for me to start it, and so I figured it would be a very good pick for this prompt. Back into some completed prompts. Number 8, All My Loving. Revisit an author you have enjoyed before, but for some reason haven't revisited. This, I picked Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I have read Migrations, but I just kind of never got around to reading her second book, Has Wolves in the title. And so I'm counting this as, completed for the prompt. Number 9 is Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, which is a period or historic fiction / bonus points if it's between the 60s and 90s. This predates the 60s, but it's Evelyn Waugh's Brideshead Revisited, which I loved. Number 10 is Modern Love. Read a book during the same month that you get it. Bonus points if you start it immediately or finish it within a week. So I get my bonus points because this is a very, very tiny book. It's a very short story by Madeline Miller, Galatea. And it's, I think, like 50 pages. So I just sat down one morning and read through it. Number 11, Lonesome Town. A name is in the title. Extra points if the title is one word and it's just the name. It's not one word, it's Agnes Grey by one of the Brontes. And I really loved it. Really loved Agnes Grey. It was one of my first books that I read this year. Very pleased. And obviously her name is in the title. Blowin' in the Wind. Nonfic of any kind. Or read a book about a topic you're curious about to really dive deeper. I have a whole bunch kind of earmarked for this prompt, and I don't know for certain if I'm going to read the one that I've picked here, but just as kind of a reminder to myself, I have Unlikable Female Characters, The Women Pop Culture Wants You to Hate by Anne Bagutskaya, I think. And now we get into the bonus prompts. So Man in the Mirror, published fanfic or Greek mythology or some other retelling. So I read Electra for that Goodreads challenge. So I've slotted it in here. Gimme, 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 that's an ABBA song. New releases that you can't wait to get your hands on, in brackets, your dirty little paws. And I put Water Moon in here because I was just so floored that I got it when I did. I had it on hold from Libby, and I couldn't believe how quickly I got it. Number 15, Bohemian Rhapsody, a book that is genre defying / doesn't quite fit into one genre. For that, I picked The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida, and I'm sticking to it, doubling down. It's definitely a genre defying book. It's, fairly long. It is encompassing like magical realism, but there's also not romance in the sense of like the romance genre, but there's friendship, there's intimacy, there's mystery, there's thriller, there's secrets, there's just a lot going on, and it's all done so well. The next one is While My Guitar Gently Weeps, a book about music or has a heavy focus on music. It can be a book with a character that is a musician. It can be nonfiction about music, or it could be a book that has a song in the title. So right now I've earmarked Nocturnes by Kazu Ishigaru, and I have read Never Let Me Go by this author. So I've not read Nocturnes, but I thought, you know what, I'd love to read more. Oh, and I've read Clara Meets the Sun. So yes, I would love to keep reading this author. And then the very last bonus, number 17, is Across the Universe, a book in translation or read a book in another language. I would not be able to read a book in another language, so I've read now I'm wondering if it is a translation. I picked Long Petal of the Sea. Yes, translator, Amanda Hopkinson. Whew. Imagine it wasn't. Okay. And that is Moony's book club challenge. And yeah, 67% complete for the main challenge, and then 80% complete for the bonuses. And I think I have something earmarked for each challenge, so that feels good. The next Storygraph challenge that I'm a part of is the 2025 Tea and Ink Society Classics Challenge. This is hosted by Cozy Hosey, I think. And there's 42 participants in this one. I am 33% of the way done, and this one, like I've only gotten 4 out of 12 prompts done. I did go through this past week and earmark a lot of the prompts, so I'm feeling a little less wobbly about how to complete this one. But I do feel like this one will be a bit of a challenge just because of the length of some of these books that I have yet to read. And there's also a few books that I just, am aware of through pop culture, but have never actually read for myself. So it feels a little overwhelming, maybe a little daunting to be like, yeah, I'm just going to read all of these this year. But I'm going to darn well try. So, January, a classic you discovered in a used bookstore. For this one, I picked D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. I did read it for the most part as an audiobook, but I did get a used copy in a book sale years ago, which first inspired me to read it, and then now it's finally off the TBR, and I have finished it. February, or the second prompt, a Russian novel or short story collection. I have Anna Karenina, which I'm excited and daunted about. I think I might have bent the rules a little bit here. The third prompt is a classic about immigrants or pioneers, just based on the time of the publication. I picked Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton, from the sense that they were sort of pioneers. Let's just move on, Number 4, a classic set on your own turf. I have picked The Diviners by Margaret Lawrence. This is technically the third, I think, book in a series. but I'm not too worried. I don't think you have to read them in order. And if I do, I will pick something else. But it's one of those books that I've just heard enough about, and I think it would be nice to have read it. The fifth is a book you were supposed to read in school. I've picked Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't remember ever being assigned this in school, and maybe that's why I've never read it, but for the sake of this challenge, let's put it in there. The sixth challenge is nonfiction nature writing. And so I've picked Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. I've read excerpts from this book, but I've never sat down and read the whole thing cover to cover. So I'm very excited to give that a try. The seventh is a science fiction novel or short story collection. I've picked The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. I have not read this book. I first got interested in it by Sana of Books and Quills back when I first started on Booktube, because she read it and she made a really cool video about it. And so it's always kind of been on my list. I have instead read John Wyndham's The Kraken Wakes, and that was also a used book that I got. And my husband and I actually read it together. We would take turns reading the chapters back and forth. And that one was very, it worked out really well to read that one. I really liked his writing. So I'm excited to finally read The Day of the Triffids. And then the eighth prompt is a classic by an author you've only read once. I think I kind of cheated on this one. So I slotted in Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. I have read fiction. I have read nonfiction by Virginia Woolf. I've read The Waves, and then I read Mrs. Dalloway. So she's somebody that I really like reading, but I also am I guess, figuring I'm going to read her work over the course of my lifetime kind of thing. The ninth prompt is a classic World War I or World War II novel. I slotted in Evelyn Waugh's Brideshead Revisited. We're starting to see some familiar faces here for the World War II novel. The 10th prompt is a Jane Austen novel. So I've picked Sense and Sensibility because I've never read that one before. The 11th prompt is a poetry collection by one of the Romantic poets. So I did some research this week to see who that would even entail if I wanted to do someone other than the big six that are referenced here in the prompt. So I picked Charlotte Smith. She sounds like a really cool lady, and it looks like I could probably get, an EPUB of her selected poems. So I've earmarked that one. And then the last one, which I'm kind of excited by and quite titillated by, and hopefully I can find an EPUB of this, is a medieval or Renaissance classic. So what I've picked is The Interior Castle. And I've totally forgotten the name of the author, by Teresa of Avila. And yes, the alternative title is The Mansions. So I think it's a nonfiction book. It's religious. It's from first published in 1588. So overwhelmed at the prospect, but also very curious. People still read it to this day. So I'm excited to crack that one open. But as you can see, this one I'm kind of dragging my feet on a little bit. But this is why I'm doing this video, so I can, set my intentions. And the last of the Storygraph challenges that I started unrelated to Booktube is the Physical TBR by Voidbex. There's 17 participants in this one, and it's all about reading books that you physically have a copy of. So I am 25% of the way done the official prompts, and I am 100% done. I think there's only one bonus prompt, so I'm 100% done with that one. And I thought this was a cute way of doing it. It's all based on the color of the cover of the book. So for a book with a red cover, I picked In the Company of Killers, which I got out of the library. An orange cover, I picked Wild Dark Shore, also got out of the library. Yellow cover, right now I have a copy of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Beautiful and the Damned, which I have, which I own, which is on my shelf. And I also own another copy of the exact same book, but I mean, of that title, but obviously different. Anyway, moving on. Green cover, another book that I have on my shelf, Her Body and Other Parties. Blue cover, No Time to Spare by Ursula K. Le Guin. Purple cover, I'm Afraid of Men by Vivek Shraya. Black cover, The Lost Spells by Robert McFarlane and Jackie Morris. Book with a white cover. I have not nailed this down yet. Looking at my own shelves, nothing is jumping out at me, and then I'm sure I could find something at my library. But anyway, and then the bonus prompt, a book that didn't fit into the other prompts, question mark, question mark. I can't remember. There is a blue cover one, but I would say this is a different color blue. So I put in Madeline Miller's Galatea, which, as I mentioned before, is a very short story, and I got the book out from the library.